impacts of that. Now look, Stanley talked about a symbiosis. I love the idea of a symbiosis, but I also know systems that feel much more host-parasite, even though we think they're symbiotic. And that's absolutely plausible, depending on who's in charge and who's calling the shots, right? I mean, I love Jan's concept of, I'm smart, I only hire people that are smarter than me. That's awesome. Does that describe everyone in your organization? Are you freaking kidding me? No, not even close. So the idea that you can say, well, it's just fine, because it's gonna be smarter, we'll just hire smarter people. No one in an organization thinks that you only hire smarter people. There are enormous problems in corporations and in governments with B and C and D players that refuse to hire competent people, that sideline competent people. That's exactly the way we work. It's not like Jan, okay? I mean, maybe he actually does operate like that, and God bless him if he does, but most people don't. So, you know, clearly. Now, I thought that Bletchley was very interested, because here we had a major stage, and you had a whole bunch of government actors. It's like G20, except you also had a whole bunch of technology actors. And there was no difference in terms of where they were standing on the stage. AI is kind of a post-Westphalian moment. I mean, what I call a technopolar world, because when you look at the digital environment, when you look at AI specifically, it is the companies that are making the decisions. It is the companies that are determining the outcomes. And the only way that governance is going to get done in that environment, unless you nationalize the corporates, which the Americans hate, you know, or the corporates take over, which Zeynep should hate, because they don't have social contracts and they're not responsible to citizens, you're going to have something that's hybrid. You're going to have something that's actually very unlike everything that we have had heretofore. And you know, we learned a little bit about that in science fiction. I mean, the Ministry of the Future was a little bit of like a hybrid of like technocrats with whatever power they could find around the world, creating something supranationally governable, because the only way you could deal with climate was that. I actually think that Kim Stanley Robinson would have been more intriguing writing that book about AI than about climate. But anyway, those are a few thoughts.
Yeah, Gabriella, on to that point, I think it's a really interesting one, that that hybrid world that it mentions, and that's impossible to imagine right now.
No, the whole point what I'm hearing here is, I was also in London, and I think that the conversation changed. And it changed by a single move by the US, which came with executive order saying, we need ex-ante assessments, which looks like obvious, but it's obvious. You need to test the systems